So y'all, it's kind of been storming all day, and my plan was to go to the farmer's market, get some groceries and things like that. Um, but it was, storming. Now, the weather has subsided, the bad weather, and oh God, about to get in my vehicle and carry myself on to the store, you know? And yes, I am wearing galoshes. But where I'm from, people call them shrimp and boots. The thing is, people are always wondering, like, when they hear me talk, like, bruh, I know you Southern, but where are you from? Okay, I was born in New Orleans, lived there. I got cut off for a second, but my mom decided to go back to college and finish her degree she started when she was younger. And she got a full ride to a private Christian university in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So we left New Orleans, went there, she got her degree. We came back home to New Orleans, and then my mama was like, oh no, we have been away too long. Things are quite different, and my children are quite different. These kids will eat y'all alive, so we going to move to the country where I used to spend my summers as a girl. And so we like, oh girl, where we going, girl? So then we end up in La Place, Louisiana, right? But because I'm technically from there, and like anybody who's from there, we say La Place, you know. So we end up in La Place, okay, and that's where I grew up. So for the most part, I have no idea what I sound like to people outside of what they say. I know you Southern, but where are you from, girl? Or even in like people in Louisiana say that, or like depending on like where they're from, if they're like more from the swamps, they'll be like, "Where you from, girl?" Like. But anyway, so yes, I am originally from New Orleans, Louisiana. I was born in Charity Hospital. Honestly, if you weren't born in Charity, then I don't know that you count. Even though I left for a few years. But anyway, y'all, also my accent would never be as heavy as anyone else's because my mother is an English teacher. So she really just didn't play that. Like certain things that we said, she kind of like mulled over and was like, whatever, it's a vowel thing. She's an English teacher, so she gets it. But other things, she's like, oh no, ma'am. If you want to compete when you grow up and go to college, you have to be able to bridge the gap with verbal communication, because you don't want to go nowheres and people don't know what you're saying all the time like they do here. Y'all, when I was growing up in Oklahoma, I would get picked on all the time about how I sounded, and people would be like, I know you black, but not really, right? Like, you don't look all the way black. Or they would say things like, what country are you from? Like literally, because if you're from New Orleans and you speak like we do, or like I did, because I don't anymore, everything is broken English and broken French mixed together. So I understand as an adult woman how I really did sound like I was speaking a different language, because I was. The other thing to consider is La Place is kind of like the beginning of the swamps in a way. Like, I mean, obviously the swamps is everywhere, but like once you get to like Kenna and keep going, or like by where the old airport was in Kenna, baby, you was in the swamps. It just don't look like it until you get to River Road and you go on that back road by that back levee. Then you start to see it and you know what I'm talking about. But basically, the first half of my life, I grew up in the city. The middle portion of my life, I grew up in the country, literally in Oklahoma, and I guess the later of the adolescent life was in the swamps, and then really all the way through college, because then I went to Nickel State University. Y'all, my college is in the bayou. Like, it's really in the bayou. So anybody who went there, they'd be like, I'm from the bayou. I'm from the bayou. Or they would say, I'm from down the bayou. And I used to be like, what does that even mean? But it just means that that's where they're from. If you're watching this and you don't know anything about Louisiana, I mean, that's what people would say. I'm from the bayou, or I'm from down the bayou. And I'd be like, well, I'm from New Orleans and La Place. So, y'all, that's where my accent compilation comes from. Having an English teacher mother who birthed me in New Orleans, who took me to Oklahoma and brought me back to La Place.